What is up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the Gramercy Theater, and we are here with Ingested. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I do got to say that some people in Brooklyn have a bone to pick with you on your show from last year because you just destroyed the venue last year. A little story for you, actually. I went out for a cigarette, and the security guard came running out, and he said, "Dude, the wall is missing."
What?
Yeah.
What? Which venue was this? Was this?
This is a Brooklyn show that we did last year in December. Kingsland.
Yeah.
He came out, dude, the wall is missing, and I don't mean to intervene, but how does the wall go missing? The wall doesn't just go missing. So you really
it does when we play, apparently.
There you go. But it's so awesome to have you here. A Level Above Human is your latest record.
Yeah.
It came out last year. Do you just want to talk about how this record cycle has been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. So we toured Europe, UK, and America and Canada on this record. And then since then, we've actually released an EP as well, entitled The Call of the Void, which is what we're actually touring now. It's a 4-track EP, and we tried to do something a little bit outside the box with that one. So yeah, check that one out, definitely.
Yeah. So The Call of the Void isn't just like a continuation of a Level Above
No,
Human,
it's something different.
Mm-hmm. So
totally different.
Was that a preconceived idea to kind of experiment a little bit more with this sound?
Yeah, because we're always in the process of writing albums anyway, but because we'd just done a full-length album, we kind of thought should we just do something totally outside of our comfort zone, something a lot darker, a lot more atmospheric, a lot more melodic as well, actually, in some ways. So yeah, and then that's what we did.
Being the vocalist, do you need to hear music in order to come up with lyrics, or does the concept behind your lyrics ever help determine the outcome of the music?
No, I constantly write lyrics. So does our guitarist Sam. Constantly writing lyrics all the time. It doesn't matter whether I'm sat on the bus or train or I'm just sat on the couch at home. I'll always be thinking about lines and stuff. And the way I write lyrics is I write in reverse. So I write the last line first and then work backwards. Because that way, every verse that I write, I know ends on a banging line.
Yeah. Wow, I guess you want to. I've always heard starting a song off, you want to start it off on the best note, but you also want to end it on the best note too.
So
yeah, that's really interesting. When it comes to writing, do you need to put yourself in a certain element in order for inspiration to come, or does it just kind of come out of nowhere sometimes?
A lot of the time, it's just constantly whizzing around in my head. So I'll just constantly be thinking that's a cool line. I kind of write lines the movie dialogue. You know, when something really cool happens in a movie and then someone says a badass line. Yeah. That's how I try to think of lyrics and lines. But a lot of the lyrics we write, me and Sam anyway, they're very personal. About our personal experiences and stuff. And then what we do is we'll flip turn that so it's metaphorical. So the song, we know what the song means to us, but you might think it means something completely different to you. Yeah,
so it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Could somebody else's interpretation of the music kind of change your outlook on your song?
Yeah. There's been plenty of times when people have said, "Oh, what's this song about?" And then I always say, "Well, what do you think it's about?" And then they'll tell me, and I'll be like, "That's amazing, mind blowing." Yeah. It's just I love to see how people interpret what we put out. I think that's really cool.
Of course. Now, this is going to be my third time seeing Ingested tonight. The first time I saw you was at Summer Slaughter 2016, which was insane. That venue just opened up again.
Oh, amazing. That was such a good show, that as well.
Yeah. But, seeing you live is a completely different experience than just listening to your music. Is it a completely different energy? Do you channel a completely different energy when you're, in the vocal booth or in the studio versus the live set?
Yeah, totally. When I feel when I get on stage, I feel completely different to how I am normally. I feel like I'm in a completely different mind frame. It's sounds weird. It's a totally different beast, if you know what I mean. I'm in a totally different mindset. And then whatever happens on stage, it happens.
Yeah. There you go. I guess with the studio, you have to try to perfect the moment, and on stage, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. With the studio, everything's very regimented because you want it to be perfect. Because once it's there on CD, it's there forever. Yeah, that's it. That is exactly how it is. So you'll do it over and over again to make sure it's as perfect as you can get it. But with the live setting, it's so much more fast and loose and like intense. Like I love playing live like far more than I love being in the studio.
Yeah, and I get different answers every time. Some people say like, they prefer to be in the studio because they could be more independent in their element. Do you find it easier to write music when you're with the entirety of your band, or is just sometimes like being alone helps you?
Yeah, we all write solo. Like we all write separately.
Okay.
Like Sean writes a lot of his guitars like just on his own, and then he'll then take what he's got and then he'll combine it with what Sam's got, and then we'll get the structure of the song, and then me and Sam will come in with our separate lyrics for different songs and stuff like that. So we all kind of write on our lonesome, to be honest, and then come together at the end, and then it's a combination.
And I'd imagine many different elements come in as a result of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And I have 2 more questions from you. You guys are from Manchester?
Yes.
England? So, I've interviewed so many bands from the UK, but like many different types of bands too. Like While She Sleeps, I've interviewed, one of the members of Vervum who's from the UK.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but like, so many different styles of bands there, so many different genres, you name it. Was there like a scene in like the UK that you're cut your teeth in, like with a heavy band like Employed to Serve being from there? Or
yeah, I mean, like the scene in the UK now is as strong as it's ever been. Like, but I always like back then, like what we're talking like 10 years ago when we started. Now getting old now, but yeah, like back then it was like the scene was just starting. Like all the slam bands were becoming popular. There was the MySpace deathcore era as well. Like, can't forget about that. So that scene was building, and then it kind of dipped off a little bit, and then now it's just come back with a vengeance now. So now there's so many bands coming out in Manchester.
It has to be an easy scene to start. I think Boston Manor is from Manchester.
I'm not sure. Don't think I've heard of them.
I'd imagine being like in a scene like it's kind of easier to start a band there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's new bands popping up like every other week, like from all over the UK now. So the scene that just proves how strong the scene is.
Yep. And how the genre can't die.
Exactly.
Yep. And the final question I want to ask you is, because I save always the hardest question for last.
Okay.
How do you know when a song is done?
Oh my god. That is a hard question actually. But the song's never done though, is it really? I mean, you're never fully satisfied with it. You'll always like listen back to it at like months after the album's done, and then you'll be like, oh, we could have done that. We could have done this. Like, but I don't know. I feel like now, like for me lyrically, I just know when a song's done now. Like, I'm like, right, okay, because I have a structured way of like writing my lyrics, so when I fit them to the music that Sean and Sam give me, it's like I can only go so far with it. So then once I've got like the hook and like I've got like like a nice chorus like with some banging lines in it, then I'm good basically. I've got it down, like that's it.
There you go. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
today.
you're very welcome, dude.
Great time. Looking forward to the show tonight. You just have the Call the Void EP out.
Yep.
You have a Level Above Human. You're kind of well into the record cycle for that still. Just anything else you would like to promote in terms of new music or tours coming up?
Yeah, I mean, like we've got after we do the Despised Icon run that we're on now, we've got a 10-year anniversary tour in Europe. For our first album, Surpassing the Boundaries of Human Suffering. So we're going to be playing that album in its entirety from start to finish.
Hell yeah. Bring that shit to the US.
Well, we'll see what happens. You'll have to keep your peepers out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's and other than that, just a massive thank you to all our fans and anyone that supports us. Honestly, it means the world to us.
Awesome. Yeah. I remember I've been trying, I've wanted to interview you since I saw you on that Summer Slaughter tour. So.
Oh, mate. Well, thank you very much.
Of course. So thank you so much. Everybody, we are here with Ingested, Call the Void EP, and A Level Above Human. Pick those up right now while supplies last forever. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.